Hello there, sports fans, and in today's podcast, I will be talking about NFL player sit-outs for the upcoming 2020 season. So it'll go as this. I will go through every single team and go through all their players that have announced that they'll be sitting out in the 2020 season due to the coronavirus or different other reasons. So I hop right into it. Alright, so to start off, you have the Arizona Cardinals, and the team only having one sit-out, and that is offensive tackle Marcus Gilbert. Next, the Atlanta Falcons. So far, they don't have any opt-outs, but that may change. But next up, the Baltimore Ravens. They have offensive tackle Andre Smith and a wide receiver DeAnthony Thomas. Next team, the Buffalo Bills. They have a cornerback E.J. Gaines sitting out. And then next, they have the Carolina Panthers, and they have a linebacker Jordan Mack and a edge rusher Christian Miller sitting out. Next team, you have the Chicago Bears, and they have a defensive lineman Eddie Goldman and a safety Jordan Lucas. Next, the Cincinnati Bengals, you have a defensive lineman in Josh Tupou and offensive tackle Isaiah Prince. Next team, the Cleveland Browns, they have offensive lineman Drew Forbes, another offensive lineman Drake Dorbit, and a defensive lineman, Andrew Billings. Next, you have the Dallas Cowboys, and their opt-outs are wide receiver Stephen Guidry, a cornerback Maurice Kennedy, and last for the Cowboys, they have a fullback Jasmiz Aloy sitting out. So next up, you have the Denver Broncos, and their team opt-outs are as follows. Defensive lineman Kyle Pecco, tackle Jawan James. Next, you have the Detroit Lions, and their sit-outs are as follows. Defensive lineman Jod Atkins, wide receiver Geronimo Allison, and that's it for that team. Next, you have the Green Bay Packers, and their sit-outs are as follows. Wide receiver Devin Funches, and that's it. Houston Texans, you have defensive lineman Eddie Vanderdoes. Next, the Indianapolis Colts, you have the linebacker Sky Moore. Next following, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and their sit-outs, they have edge rusher Laurenti McCray, defensive lineman Al Woods. For the Kansas City Chiefs, their sit-outs are offensive lineman Laurent Tardif, running back Damian Williams. Next, for the Las Vegas Raiders, edge rusher Jeremiah Volaga and cornerback DJ Killings. Next, the Los Angeles Chargers. They don't have any opt-outs up to this point. So moving on, the Los Angeles Rams. Their sit-outs are offensive tackle Chandler Brewer, and that's it. Miami Dolphins have wide receiver Allen Hurns, wide receiver Albert Wilson. Next, the Minnesota Vikings, and their sit-outs are defensive lineman Michael Pierce, and that's it for that team. The New England Patriots, they have roughly cleared $17 million in 2020 cap space due to all their sit-outs. It's a pretty long list, so I'll get right into it. Safety, Patrick Chung. Linebacker, Dante Hightower. Next, they have running back Brandon Bolden. Offensive tackle, Marcus Cannon. Fullback, Danny Vital. Offensive lineman, Najee Torin. Wide receiver, Marquise Lee. And to wrap up the list, they have tight end, Matt Lacrosse. So for the New Orleans Saints, they have a total of 2 sit-outs, and that is they're both tight ends, one being Cole Vick and tight end Jason Van Der Laan. Next, the New York Giants. They have offensive tackle Nate Solder and wide receiver Damari Scott. Next team, the New York Jets. They have one sit-out known so far, and that is C.J. Mosley, linebacker. Next, for the Philadelphia Eagles, one sit-out, and that is wide receiver Marquise Goodwin. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they don't have any known opt-outs up to this point. So moving on, San Francisco 49ers, they have Travis Benjamin sitting out. And next up, the Seattle Seahawks, the offensive lineman Chance Warmack. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they don't have any sit-outs as well. Tennessee Titans, Anthony McKinney. And then the Washington football team, also known as Washington Redskins, but you guys know what happened with that. But they have defensive lineman Caleb Brantley and linebacker Josh Harvey Clemens. And then, so that wraps up all the teams. To quickly include NFL free agent, offensive lineman Larry Wareford. He has announced he'll be sitting out, so that'll be that. Alright guys, this will wrap up today's podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next one here in about 3 days. That podcast will be about the Washington Redskins timeline leading up to the name change, so I'll get into the details with that in that podcast, so if you're interested, be ready. Alright, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.